megastars, the millionaires, the masterminds. Seriously wealthy, glamorous and influential. They are the rich and famous. Sophisticated and stylish, tanned and good looking. These people know what to wear and how to wear it. This is high fashion. Giorgio Armani, Italian fashion designer for the stars. Worth around $4.5 billion, Giorgio Armani is one of the most influential designers of the 20th century. Not only does he design clothing, Armani also dabbles in fragrances, cosmetics, home decor, jewellery, leather wallets, eyewear and $10,000 Privé Borgo watches. He has several different labels, including Giorgio Armani, Armani Collezioni, Emporio Armani, Armani Jeans, Armani Junior and Armani Casa. He is now joining the hotel business with Dubai builder Emaar Properties. Together, they plan to launch a chain of hotels and luxury resorts in cities such as London, Paris, New York, Tokyo, Shanghai, Dubai and Milan. Giorgio Armani began his company in 1974 and was said to be one of the most successful designers to come out of Italy by 2001, with an annual turnover of over $1.6 billion. By 2001, Forbes estimated Giorgio Armani's net worth to be around $1.7 billion and named him the most successful Italian designer. And again in 2006, but this time his net worth was up around $4.1 billion. Armani originally trained in medicine. Lucky for him, he didn't stick to it, although he would have made a very well-dressed and fashionable doctor. He got his start as a window dresser in department store La Rinascente, then moved on to work as a designer for Nino Cerruti, which he left after a few years to pursue his own career. Giorgio Armani Company was founded in Milan in 1975 with only $10,000. Today, Armani has around 4,700 employees and 13 factories worldwide, as well as 300 stores in 36 countries. Giorgio Armani made a big impact when he designed the clothing to be worn by Richard Gere in 1980's American Gigolo. You can now see anyone who's anyone wearing his label: George Clooney, Samuel L. Jackson, Cate Blanchett, just to name a few. In 2003, fashion guru Giorgio Armani was awarded the first ever Rodeo Drive Walk of Style Award at a star-studded event in Beverly Hills. He was one of the first designers to ban models with a body mass index below 18 after some models were becoming too thin. Whoever would have thought a model could be too thin? Not everything in his life is about fashion though. Giorgio Armani was named Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations High Commission for Refugees in 2002. And in 2007, Sustainable Style Foundation, a non-profit organisation that promotes sustainable design and living, named him Best Dressed Environmentalist. Okay, most things are about fashion. Giorgio Armani owns a number of homes in a number of luxurious places, such as Saint-Tropez, Forte del Marmi, Brony and Pantelleria. He has also built a mansion on the Caribbean island of Antigua. Probably not something he ever would have imagined on a doctor's wage. Giorgio Armani is also an avid sports fan. He is a keen follower of the Italian football club Inter Milan, president of the Milan basketball team, and sponsors of England's Chelsea and Hong Kong's South China football teams. He was also able to design the Italian flag bearers' outfits for the 2006 Winter Olympic Games opening ceremony in Turin, Italy. In early 2007, Armani was the first designer to broadcast a trend-setting fashion show live on the internet. With technology today, who needs catwalks? Giorgio Armani is definitely a unique man and fashion designer. Now I just wish I could afford his clothes. Valentino Garavani has been in the fashion industry for over 40 years. Better known as just Valentino, he has had an eye for fashion since he was a young boy. He would have custom-made shoes and would love to wear cashmere sweaters. Born in Voghera, just north of Milan, Italy, he had moved to Paris by the age of 17 to begin his career working in the design department of Jean Desses. He then began his own fashion house in Rome in the early 1960s. Valentino is known around the world for his elegant designs and has dressed many famous people. One of his most famous pieces is the wedding dress for Jacqueline Kennedy's marriage to Aristotle Onassis in 1968. He was also chosen to design the Italian athlete's uniform for the 1984 Olympic Games. Valentino has a trademark colour known as Rosso Valentino, a combination of 100% magenta, 100% yellow and 10% black. Valentino has received a number of awards. In 1967, he received the Neiman Marcus Prize in Dallas, the Oscar of the fashion industry, and a Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2000 American Designer Awards in New York. With some encouragement from his good friend Elizabeth Taylor, in the early 90s, Valentino and his then partner Giancarlo Giametti created LIFE, initials in Italian for Fighting, Information, Building and Teaching, an association fighting against AIDS. In 1998, Valentino decided he wanted out of the company and just to be a designer, selling his company to HDP for $300 million. In 2002, HDP then sold Valentino to Marzotto Apparel, a Milan-based textile company, for $210 million. It was then later sold again to Permira Private Equity Fund. They paid $1.06 billion for a controlling stake in Valentino, which is now valued at $3.52 billion. The multi-millionaire can thank his very wealthy followers for his success. Filthy rich women that wore nothing but the best were known as Val's Gals. With all his money being made, what can he spend it on? What about his 14-seat Challenger jet? When travelling, Valentino needs 3 cars to get him to the airport. One for Valentino and his partner, one for his staff and luggage, and the third to transport 5 of his 6 pet pugs. His favourite pug, Maud, gets to travel with him. Not only that, when at the airport he boards the plane, then gets an employee to bring his pugs on. But not all at once. It has to be done in 2 trips, so it doesn't look like he has too many pets. Is anyone else not understanding why he would do this? Valentino is the owner of not one, but many mansions in London, Rome, New York and Paris. And don't forget his yacht, which has hosted many parties and has had a lot of big-name guests visit. It wouldn't be unusual to see glamorous beauties such as Meryl Streep and Gwyneth Paltrow relaxing in the sun aboard his yacht. Big-name stars such as Julia Roberts, Uma Thurman, Elizabeth Taylor, Halle Berry and Cate Blanchett can all be seen wearing Valentino. Julia Roberts was wearing a Valentino dress when she won her Oscar in 2001. To celebrate his 45th anniversary in the fashion industry, Valentino didn't just throw a small bash. He went all out with a 3-day extravaganza in Rome, featuring fireworks, aerial acrobatics, and of course his A-list friends. Nothing like going out with a bang. Tom Ford is a perfectionist. He is after world domination through style. Like his other designer friends such as Valentino, Tom is one of the world's most influential designers. It was Tom's brilliance that turned Gucci into a $1 billion success. Growing up in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and studying architecture at Parsons School of Design, Tom was able to get employment with Kathy Hardwick, a freelance designer and boutique owner, and Perry Ellis, an American fashion designer who founded a sportswear house in the 1970s. Gucci creative director Dawn Mello hired Tom in 1990 as chief women's ready-to-wear designer and then design director. Tom then moved to Milan, where he was promoted to creative director. After creating some new looks for Gucci and introducing some new modern ad campaigns, Gucci was back on top. By 1999, it was valued at around $4.3 billion, from previously being almost bankrupt. Yves Saint Laurent then joined with Gucci. Tom again was made director. It definitely had its perks. Tom won a number of awards from the Council of Fashion Designers of America. Tom departed from Gucci and Yves Saint Laurent in 2004 to launch his own fashion house, Tom Ford. He started off with accessories, his eyewear collection really attracting Hollywood A-list stars like Brad Pitt, Lindsay Lohan, Madonna and Jennifer Aniston. Also international stars like Bollywood's Aishwarya Rai and Hong Kong action man Stephen Chow. The ruggedly handsome George Clooney has also mentioned he's a fan of Tom's menswear designs. To be attracting big names like this, Tom must be doing something right. Tom Ford's first store opened in April 2007 in New York City and offers luxury menswear such as suits, ties, shirts, knitwear, accessories, luggage and small leather goods. But not with a small price tag. A crocodile wallet will set you back about $990. And George Clooney can find a suit for around $5,000. He is now designing menswear, beauty, eyewear and men's and women's accessories. Tom has now signed multi-million-dollar deals with Marcolin and Estee Lauder to design sunglasses and a makeup range and produce a men's fragrance with his name.
Fragrance and cosmetics has been a part of my job for the last 15 years when I was at Gucci and Saint Laurent, but a part of my job that I really loved. I love the fragrance and cosmetics business, and for me, there really was no other choice of partner other than Estee Lauder.
Tom has already had a go at creating his own fragrances: Tom Ford Black Orchid, Private Blend, and Tom Ford for Men. If there's a fashion award out there, you can bet Tom Ford has won it. He was awarded the Andre Leon Talley Lifetime Achievement Award, Accessory Designer of the Year Award for Yves Saint Laurent, and Women's Wear Designer of the Year from the Council of Fashion Designers of America. In New York, he was named Best International Designer at the VH1 Vogue Awards. Tom was also honoured with the Vito Russo Award. This is awarded to someone who has made a difference in promoting equal rights for the gay and lesbian community.
Thank you.
Just to try something new, in 2006, Tom was guest editor and creative director for the Hollywood edition of Vanity Fair. He also posed for the front cover with a naked Keira Knightley and Scarlett Johansson. A lot of men would have thought that was a waste, seeing Tom is gay. Tom certainly has sex appeal and knows how to put that into his designs. Seems like a bit of a waste to us too, doesn't it, girls? We all know Donatella Versace by her look, long blonde hair and brilliantly tanned skin. But we also know her as the wealthy Italian fashion designer and sister to the world-famous designer Gianni Versace, founder of the Versace clothing empire. Donatella is currently Vice President of the Versace Group and Chief Designer of the fashion line. She currently owns 20% of the entire Versace stock, her brother Santo 30% and her daughter Allegra 50%. Allegra Versace was very close to her uncle Gianni, and when he died in 1997, he left her a great big inheritance. $700 million to be exact. It was stated in his will that Allegra was to receive the majority of his inheritance and titles. And after Donatella, Allegra is the heiress to the Versace treasure. Donatella will look after the company's assets, and the company received $21.6 million in life insurance from Gianni's death. Allegra was also left with Gianni's villa in Lake Como, Italy, and his townhouse in one of Manhattan's wealthiest neighbourhoods. Gianni is known to have said to Allegra, "Only you understand how I express what I feel." Donatella and daughter Allegra will be the major holders of the Versace label. In 1978, Versace totaled sales of around $15 million. As the years went on, that rose. By the late 80s, it was up to $353 million and reached $1 billion in 1996. Donatella's own label, Versus, which is a well-known Versace line, helped the growth of the business with the opening of new stores in America. Versace stores achieved $105 billion in 1995, 53% of that outside of Italy. Since 1994, Versace have spent 8% of direct sales, $25 billion, annually in advertising, but are looking to cut down to save money. In 2002, Donatella opened Palazzo Versace on Queensland's Gold Coast. Palazzo Versace means Versace Palace. It is the world's first luxury Versace hotel and is part owned by Australian companies Sunland Group and Emirates Investments Group Australia. The 227-room hotel is one of the most expensive in Australia. You can stay in the Imperial Suite for only $2,500 to $3,500 per night. Why not? You too did. To add to it, the Versace name is now adding the world's tallest hotel, the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, and has a large collection of Versace furniture and bedding, and again, expensive plush rooms. It will include luxury suites, villas, and an exclusive spa. Donatella is just as famous for her glitzy glam parties as she is for her fashion, with guests including Sir Elton John, Liz Hurley, Kate Moss and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Prince Charles has even been known to attend. Wow, that's one wild party. Donatella is known to use celebrities to advertise her clothing instead of unknown models. She was able to get some of her close friends who were only happy to help out. Celebs like Madonna, Demi Moore and Christina Aguilera have all helped out being the image and face of Versace. Although she's fantastic at making other people look $1 million, we can't say too much about her own look. Ralph Lauren, he has always had a style and sophistication about him that has always made him stand out. With a net worth in excess of $1 billion, he has shown what someone from the Bronx, New York can achieve. He has a number of product lines such as Polo Ralph Lauren for men, Ralph Lauren for women, Double RL, Ralph Lauren Home and Ralph Lauren Paint. Since a young age, Ralph Lauren has always looked cool. The money he would earn from his after-school job would be spent on expensive suits, not like the rest of us that would spend it on lollies and junk. Ralph Lauren founded the company Polo Fashions in the late 60s with his design of wide ties and a $50,000 loan. And I'm sure that wouldn't have taken long to repay. Ralph concentrated on his line of men's clothing, shirts and suits made of fine fabrics. Not only could an office worker look powerful and professional, but also stylish and sophisticated. Then came the women's clothing and the home line collection. Ralph is one of the biggest fashion designers to grace our planet, and sales are reaching almost $4 billion a year. Even with some failures, Ralph has managed to turn his company into a $900 million company. Ralph Lauren says, "I think I've built something beyond the fashion business, a way of living. It's about taste, quality of life, another dimension of your persona." Having been in the fashion industry for 40 years, Ralph is often referred to as America's most quintessential designer. In 2007, he expanded his business empire into Russia with the opening of an 8,000 square foot flagship store in Moscow, in a historic 1870s building, which has been refurbished to become Moscow's epicenter of high fashion. When winning his Lifetime Achievement Award in 1991, Ralph advised emerging designers to stick to your guns and enjoy what you're doing. American fashion is just starting. He was presented with the first ever American Fashion Legend Award from Oprah Winfrey, saying Ralph Lauren's place in fashion was undeniable.
What isn't it about Ralph? He is an American icon in the tradition of what the word means. Legendary, consistent, elegant, gracious, beautiful, aspirational, inspirational. Ralph Lauren. You say the name and everybody knows exactly what you mean.
Ralph, still with 90% control of the Polo line, has around 275 retail and outlet stores in America and licenses more than 100 others worldwide. Ralph now owns a 17,000-acre ranch in Colorado, has homes in Jamaica and Long Island, and an estate in Bedford, New York and Montauk, which he gets to by his personal helicopter from Manhattan. Needing another hobby apart from design, he is now the proud owner of a very impressive classic car collection. He has around 50 cars, including a 1929 Bentley, 1937 Alfa Romeo, 1938 Bugatti, and a 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO, which he bought 20 years ago for $600,000. Now, it's worth more than $14 million. Not a too shabby investment. He has won Best in Show at the Elegance Contest at Pebble Beach on a number of occasions, and his collection has been shown at the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. Whoever thought a revhead would be a fashion designer? I'm sure he's still got more surprises up his silk sleeve.